There comes a moment in life when you walk into a room and something just doesn't feel right. You can sense it, the subtle shift in the air, the way people avoid eye contact, or those quick, polite smiles that don't quite meet the eyes. It's as if you're invisible, or worse, an outsider. The feeling is palpable. Something about the way you're showing up is pushing people away, even if no one is vocal about it. But here's the surprising truth. Most of the time, it's not about who you are. It's about the habits you're unknowingly carrying with you. Habits that are slowly sabotaging your reputation and relationships without you even realizing it. I've been there too, trapped in patterns that made me my own worst enemy. The good news? Change is possible, and it all starts with self-awareness. In the spirit of Stoicism, we're going to dive into 7 habits that could be damaging your connections with others, and how Stoic philosophy offers a powerful roadmap for breaking free from them. Remember, this isn't about striving for perfection, it's about making progress. If you find value in these insights, all I ask is that you hit the subscribe button. Trust me, the tips ahead are ones you won't want to miss. They could shift how people perceive you for good. Let's be honest, we've all done it. There's something almost instinctual about the urge to gossip, to share the latest drama, or dish on someone else's life. It seems harmless, even bonding in the moment. After all, who doesn't want to feel in the loop or like part of the crowd? But the truth is, gossip is a double-edged sword. Sure, you might get a brief sense of connection, but every time you talk behind someone's back, you're planting a seed of doubt in the minds of those around you. They start wondering, if they're talking about them behind their backs, what are they saying about me when I'm not around? And that's where the damage is done. Gossip erodes trust. It builds walls instead of bridges. People won't open up to you, won't share their true thoughts or feelings, if they believe you'll spread their personal business the moment they're out of earshot. I used to think gossip made me more relatable, that it was an easy way to connect with others. But in reality, it pushed people away. Conversations stayed shallow because no one trusted me with anything deeper. Here's where Stoicism offers a better path. The Stoics taught us to focus only on what we can control, our thoughts, actions, and words. Gossip is the antithesis of that. It's mental energy spent on things we can't control, on drama that has nothing to do with our growth. Instead of wasting time on the affairs of others, we can channel that energy into improving ourselves. Marcus Aurelius put it perfectly. Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. When you focus on what you can control, you begin to rise above petty distractions. Rather than gossiping, ask yourself, what can I fix within myself? That simple shift in perspective can be a game changer. When you choose not to engage in gossip, you earn a reputation as someone who can be trusted. People notice that. They may not say it out loud, but they'll respect you for not participating in the drama. And the peace of mind that comes with it? That's worth far more than the fleeting satisfaction of gossip. We've all been there. You've probably heard yourself say, "I'm fine," when you're clearly not. Or maybe you agree to something out of obligation, but inside, you're silently simmering with resentment. It feels like a clever way to avoid confrontation, right? You're not being overtly aggressive, just letting your frustration leak out in subtle, indirect ways. The problem? Passive aggression is like trying to send a message with a broken signal. It's confusing, and it doesn't get anyone anywhere. I used to think passive-aggressive behavior was a smart way to navigate conflict. Why argue directly when you can subtly communicate your dissatisfaction? But the truth is, no one is a mind reader, and even if they were, they'd probably ignore your signals because it's draining to deal with. Instead of resolving issues, passive aggression builds tension. You end up frustrated because people aren't picking up on your subtle cues, and they feel frustrated because they can't figure out what's wrong with you. It's like playing a game no one signed up for, and it leaves everyone feeling drained and uncertain. Stoicism has a simple answer to this. The Stoics valued honesty and direct communication. Marcus Aurelius reminded us that speaking the truth openly is the path to harmony. When you're passive-aggressive, you're hiding your true feelings because you're afraid of conflict. But avoiding confrontation doesn't make the problem go away. It just lets resentment fester and grow. Being upfront with your feelings might feel uncomfortable at first, but it's incredibly liberating. Instead of playing emotional games, you're addressing issues head-on, which not only frees you but strengthens your relationships. People respect honesty, even if it's tough to hear. You start respecting yourself more too, because you're no longer hiding behind passive-aggressive tactics. We all know that person who always has an excuse ready: missed the deadline, the Wi-Fi went out, late to a meeting, traffic was terrible, didn't get something done, I didn't know the deadline. It feels easier to deflect blame and avoid criticism, but here's the harsh truth. By constantly shifting responsibility, you're robbing yourself of growth. And yes, people notice. When you always deflect blame, you become the person no one can rely on. You give off the impression that you can't be trusted to take ownership of your actions. Even worse, every time you avoid responsibility, you miss out on an opportunity to learn and improve. Stoic philosophy offers us a different approach. Epictetus said it best: it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. When you blame others or external circumstances, you're giving away your power. You're telling yourself, I'm not in control of this situation. But the Stoics believe that the only thing we can truly control is our own actions and responses. Taking responsibility, no matter how uncomfortable, is empowering. It's about owning your mistakes, learning from them, and becoming better because of them. When you start taking responsibility for your actions, you build a reputation as someone who can be trusted and relied upon. People will respect you not just for your successes, but for your willingness to own your mistakes and learn from them. These are just a few habits that might be holding you back from creating deeper, more authentic connections with others. Stoicism offers a powerful framework to break free from these patterns and build a life of greater integrity and peace. It's not about being perfect, it's about making progress one mindful step at a time. Taking ownership of your mistakes is one of the most liberating actions you can take. Why? Because when you claim responsibility, you open the door to change. You can fix things, learn, and ensure that you don't repeat the same error. I'll never forget a time at work when I missed an important deadline. My first instinct was to reach for my usual excuses. Too much going on. I didn't get the email. Technical problems. But something shifted within me. I realized that none of these excuses would fix anything. They wouldn't change the fact that I dropped the ball. So I did something different. I owned up to my mistake. I told my boss, I messed up. I mismanaged my time, but I'll make sure it doesn't happen again. And you know what? My boss didn't freak out. In fact, they respected me more for my honesty. That was a turning point for me, and it's a powerful lesson in Stoicism. Taking responsibility is not a sign of weakness or defeat. It's an act of strength. It's about taking control of your life. By owning your actions, you stop being a victim of circumstances and start steering your own ship. People respect you not for being perfect, but for being real. And here's the truth. No one expects you to be flawless. They want you to be accountable. When you can look at a situation and say, I could have done better, you're already on the path to growth. That's where real respect comes from, not just from others, but from yourself. One of the hardest lessons I've learned is that excuses do nothing but trap you. They keep you stuck in mediocrity. If you always blame others, there's nothing left for you to improve. But when you stop making excuses and start taking responsibility, everything changes. You begin to see where you can improve, and you stop running from your mistakes. And the best part, the people around you will trust you more because they know you're someone who doesn't deflect blame when things go wrong. So next time you're tempted to blame someone else, pause for a moment and ask yourself, what part of this is within my control? You might be surprised by how much of it you can own. Embrace responsibility and watch the respect and trust from others grow. Taking care of yourself, on the inside and out, is not just a nice thing to do. It's essential for personal respect and how others perceive you. Hygiene may seem basic, but it's a reflection of your self-discipline and self-worth. We all know that person who neglects their hygiene, whether it's skipping showers, brushing their teeth, or just not taking care of their body. It might seem trivial, but it sends a message about how much you value yourself. When you neglect hygiene, it can imply that you're disorganized, lazy, or unreliable, even if that's not the case. Stoicism teaches us that how we care for our bodies reflects our internal state. It's all connected. The good news is, hygiene is one thing you can control completely. It's a simple yet powerful way to demonstrate that you're in charge of your life. Marcus Aurelius even wrote about the importance of cleanliness as a form of discipline. Taking care of your hygiene, even on the days you don't feel like it, is an act of personal responsibility. When you're feeling down, neglecting your hygiene can feel like an easy shortcut. But the truth is, it will only drag you deeper into a negative cycle. Taking a shower, brushing your teeth, These small acts can help you feel better, even when everything else seems hard. Remember, hygiene is not about pleasing others. It's about showing that you respect yourself enough to care for your body. When you feel clean and put together, the rest of life feels more manageable. Plus, the people around you will notice. They'll respect you because you've taken the time to present yourself well, not just for their benefit, but for your own. And that's the heart of Stoicism, being the best version of yourself, no matter what's going on around you. And let's talk about constant complaining. We all have moments where we vent, but there's a dangerous line between expressing frustration and making complaining a habit. Some people, no matter the circumstances, find something to gripe about. The temperature's wrong, the coffee's weak, the internet's slow. It's a never-ending cycle of negativity. And if you're thinking, I don't know anyone like that, take a moment to reflect. Could it be you? Constant complaining is more than just venting. It's a mental pattern that can drag everyone down. At first, it might feel like you're just being honest or blowing off steam, but when it becomes constant, it shapes how others see you. People tend to avoid negativity, and over time, they may distance themselves from you if all you ever do is complain. Stoicism teaches us that we can't control what happens to us, but we can control how we respond. Complaining often keeps you stuck, reinforcing negative judgments rather than finding solutions. Epictetus once said, "We suffer not from the events in our lives, but from our judgments about them." When you complain, you're feeding those judgments, locking yourself into a loop of negativity. The Stoics would say that this is wasted energy. Instead, focus on what you can control and let go of the things you can't. Change your mindset. When you stop complaining, you start to see opportunities for growth. People will notice the shift, and you'll feel better about yourself too. Instead of focusing on what's wrong, shift your attention to what you can be grateful for. Gratitude is a practice that transforms your perspective and helps you stop dwelling on what's negative. And the best part, when you stop complaining, you become someone others want to be around. You become the person who uplifts, not the one who brings everyone down. So, if you've been stuck in a cycle of complaining, it's time for a change. Shift your focus, take responsibility for your actions, and clean up your hygiene. You'll find that not only will others respect you more, but you'll feel better about yourself and your place in the world. Instead of dragging down the conversation with complaints, people are naturally drawn to those who focus on solutions, not problems. Complaining might offer a temporary release, but it doesn't lead to growth or progress. It keeps you stuck in a cycle of negativity, preventing you from moving forward. However, when you embrace gratitude, even for the smallest things, life starts to feel lighter. Not only will you notice the change, but those around you will appreciate it as well. The next time you catch yourself about to complain, whether it's about the weather, your job, or something as trivial as your coffee not being perfect, stop and ask yourself, can I change this? And if the answer is no, ask, is it really worth my energy? Instead of falling into the familiar habit of complaining, challenge yourself to find one thing, no matter how small, to be grateful for. This simple shift will change not just how others see you, but how you see yourself. It's at the core of Stoicism, the power to choose how we respond to life's circumstances. Being chronically late is another habit that often sneaks up on us. It may seem harmless at first, just a few minutes here or there, but those minutes add up. Soon, you're the person who is consistently late, and people start to expect it. This sends a message, whether you realize it or not. My time is more important than yours. I used to be that person, the one who thought being fashionably late was somehow cool, like it added some kind of mystique. But let's be honest, there's nothing fashionable about being late. When you're constantly late, what you're really telling people is that their time doesn't matter. Over time, I realized that being late wasn't just about time management. It reflected deeper issues, like a lack of respect for others, and even my own anxiety about fully engaging in situations. Stoicism teaches the value of discipline and fully showing up for life, and that includes being on time. Every moment is precious, as Marcus Aurelius reminded us, because time is something we can never get back. So when you show up late, you're not only disrespecting others' time, but your own as well. Being late often has less to do with poor time management and more to do with avoidance. Avoiding a meeting you're anxious about or a difficult conversation you don't want to face. Stoicism teaches us to face discomfort head-on, not to avoid it. Showing up late is often a form of delaying the inevitable. It's about taking responsibility and honoring your commitments. When you start respecting other people's time and your own, you send a message that you value both. You become someone who is reliable, trustworthy, and fully present. I had to make real changes in my life to break the habit of being late. I started setting alarms earlier, planning my day more carefully, and, most importantly, changing my mindset. Instead of thinking, it's no big deal to be 5 minutes late, I shifted to thinking, I want to honor this commitment by showing up fully and on time. That change made a world of difference. Not only did people notice, but I felt better too. I wasn't rushing in at the last minute, stressed and flustered. I was calm, prepared, and ready to engage. So if you're the person who's always running late, it's time for a change, not just for others, but for yourself. Start by being honest with yourself about why you're late. Are you avoiding something? Are you not prioritizing your time? Once you identify the reasons, you can make adjustments. Set alarms earlier, leave your house 10 minutes before you think you need to, and embrace the Stoic principle of being present. As you do this, you'll earn more respect from others and from yourself. Being on time isn't just about respect for others, it's about valuing your own time and the moments you have. Lastly, playing the victim is one of the most disempowering habits we can have. It's easy to slip into that mindset when things go wrong. Why does this always happen to me? Or, it's not my fault, just bad luck. It feels comforting to believe that life is against you, but that mentality is a trap. It keeps you stuck in the same cycle with no way out. When you play the victim, you give away your power. You hand control of your life over to circumstances, other people, and things you can't change. It may feel comforting in the short term, but it's also a form of self-sabotage. Stoicism, on the other hand, teaches that while we can't control everything that happens, we can always control how we respond to it. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." When you choose to play the victim, you're surrendering to the idea that you have no control over what happens next. But the truth is, you have more control than you think. Life will always throw curveballs, but it's your choice how you handle them. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "What can I learn from this? How can I grow?" Playing the victim often comes from fear. Fear of failure, fear of not being good enough, or fear of owning up to mistakes. It's easier to say, "This isn't my fault," than to look in the mirror and ask, "What could I have done differently?" Trust me, I know how hard it is to face the fact that some of our problems are of our own making. But the moment I stopped playing the victim was the moment everything changed. Not only does playing the victim hurt you, but it drains the people around you too. They might feel sympathy at first, but over time, that sympathy turns to frustration. People see the potential in you that you're not tapping into, and watching you not take control can be maddening. The Stoics saw life's challenges as opportunities to practice virtue. Instead of seeing setbacks as personal attacks, they viewed them as ways to strengthen their character. What if, instead of asking, "Why does this always happen to me?" you asked, "How can this make me stronger?" That shift in mindset changes everything. Suddenly, life isn't happening to you, it's happening for you. The Stoic approach is simple but powerful. Take ownership of your life. It's not about blaming yourself for everything that goes wrong, but recognizing that you always have a choice in how you respond. That's where your true power lies. Stop waiting for the world to change, and start changing yourself. When you do, amazing things happen. You'll feel less like life is happening to you, and more like you're in control of your own destiny. So next time you catch yourself slipping into that victim mentality, pause. Ask yourself, am I really powerless here, or am I just afraid to take control? Shift your mindset from "Why is this happening to me?" to "What can I do about it?" When you stop playing the victim, you step into a position of strength and take your power back. Life will still throw challenges your way. That's inevitable. But instead of being knocked down, you'll stand up taller, ready to face whatever comes next. That's the power of Stoicism, and that's the power of owning your life.